Well, happy Friday to you. This is Kevin Doran back at the old radio station with equally old guest. Yeah, it's about right.
Pleased to be here, sir.
Dr. Robert Heineman is our guest today as we get back into the groove. I hope. Stay tuned, folks.
It's time for the Newsmaker Show on News Talk AM 1480 WLEA. Here's Kevin Doran.
Dr. Robert Heineman from Alfred University, political science professor, and what else are you?
Well, Kevin, we're so pleased to have you back in the studio. And with that fine, colorful Halloween costume you have on.
Well,
there.
I'm sitting here in my, it is Halloween. I'm sitting here in my bathrobe, which is red plaid.
Red plaid would be an understatement, folks,
and
of what this man has
pajamas on, which are kind of a blue plaid, and they're making fun of me, folks.
It's turning my transition eyeglasses darker here, as I have to. But nonetheless, we're happy to have Kevin back and somebody to pound on in the flesh.
Listen, folks.
Thanks for getting back, Kevin.
Heineman sounds like a hard guy. He's really not a hard guy. He's got a heart of gold.
Yes.
You want to comment on that? Heart of gold?
Keep trying to.
He's not the most generous.
Pick off pieces of that gold here and there.
Not the most generous man in the world. He never pays for anything.
Yes, I wouldn't want to be portrayed as generous.
No.
No.
Well, I think everyone knows you're kind of a.
Yeah. All right, Kevin.
Modern day
good
Jack
to have
Benny.
you back in the studio. But
all
let's draw a line here.
All right, we'll draw a line in the sand. Listen, Bob. Something interesting happened yesterday, and you told me before the show you hadn't really read up on it, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. Andrew Cuomo was the subject of two articles in the New York Times yesterday, attacking how he handled the Moreland Commission and also other things. They haven't endorsed him. I know they never will after that article.
Oh, they did endorse him.
Did they endorse him?
Oh, yeah, he's been endorsed by the New York Times, absolutely.
Well, they better get together.
And Astorino's point is the endorsement was really strange because they said, in effect, well, we know he's dealt badly with corruption and hasn't really been able to deal with that. But that aside, there are some other things he's done. And Astorino's point is New York Times seems to be saying, well, that corruption's all right. It's no big deal. They endorsed him.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I missed that.
Well, I know you've been busy with other things here, Kevin. And
trying to be able to walk.
Right.
Listen, Bob, nevertheless, the Times went after him. He issued a statement on another matter altogether in which he said that... What are we hearing there, Bob? We're hearing something coming through the window there, boys, and it's got Bob all shook up.
It's disconcerting, yes.
All right.
That clever trick of yours, Kevin.
What trick?
A little diversion there to throw my mind off.
Well, no, now I forgot what I was going to say. Listen.
You're going to talk about the New York Times attacks on
They attacked Cuomo, and Cuomo, in a totally unrelated matter, said he wants to reform education. And, of course, that always makes the teachers' unions very nervous.
I would guess, yes.
They attacked him. And then, to complete the irony of the whole thing, Astorino came out and said he supports the public schools. So we have this unusual situation where the teachers who finance most of the Democrat campaigns in New York State, and I'm sure giving a lot of money to Cuomo, they won't help Astorino, but he's the one defending the public school system. Cuomo's attacking it.
I don't think they've given that much help to Cuomo at this point. I believe in the Zephyr Teachout Cuomo race. I believe the teachers' union refused to endorse Cuomo in that primary. Now, I don't know what they've done since. But, I think, is this an attempt of the New York Times to try to show that they're not totally biased toward the liberal Democrats? I'm not sure. But you have in your hands there, Kevin, a copy of the ballot that people are going to be voting on. And this is something I think we should give people a heads up on, Kevin.
Let's do that,
Would you
Bob.
like me to share it with you?
Okay, go ahead.
Governor Cuomo, in his clever, crafty political manner, has, first of all, he's got the working families line here.
That's the communist line, right?
Yeah, but what's more interesting is he has the women's equality line down here.
Huh.
Now, You think many women are going to vote on the women's equality line?
I know a couple who will. Yeah.
All right. Well, that means they won't be voting on the Democrat line, then, doesn't it?
That's correct.
They would normally be voting on the Democrat line, but now they have a women's equality line they can vote on.
And a worker family, whatever it's called.
Working families line.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I know where you're going. It's not going to happen, but go ahead.
Yes, it will happen, Kevin. It could well happen.
All right,
I've talked to a lot of strong
women,
long-time Democrats.
I see.
And they're not happy with Cuomo at all. And so they're thinking of voting on other lines. And the point is, Cuomo may well, by doing this, cost the Democrats row A.
How important is that?
It's very important. Yeah,
now,
no, it's important. To
why is it important?
Well, it's worth 5 or 6% of the vote.
Really? You mean people just go in and take the first line?
Well, you got to look at the people farther down the ticket here and things of that sort. Yeah, no. It makes a difference. And so you could have Andrew Cuomo winning the general election and losing row A because people who would normally vote for a Democrat might well go down here to working families or women's equality. I mean, who can pass that up? Women's equality. I mean, who's against that? So we'll see.
You're looking at one. I know what that party stands for. All right, go ahead.
I see.
Yeah, more abortions.
Just a little something for
paid for by us. Yeah, that's what they're all about.
Listening audience to keep their eyes on Tuesday, and I think that would be kind of humorous. Now, in terms of the election itself, what do you see in the polls there, Kevin?
I haven't been following the polls, Bob. I've been watching Law and Order and Blue Bloods.
Hold it. I didn't ask for your general lifestyle, Kevin. I just wanted to know what you saw in the polls.
I said I've been watching
so you're saying
Law
you
and Order.
Been watching the polls.
That's yeah. You could.
Is that your answer?
You could interpret it that way.
Let me help you here with this a little bit.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the polls I've seen and heard about, Astorino was running even or ahead of Cuomo in the suburbs, and one would expect he'd run pretty well upstate. So I don't know if. We'll see. A lot of dissatisfaction in the city.
But overall, Cuomo has a 20-point lead.
I doubt that it's that much.
All right, so it's only 15. That's still a landslide.
It's a major difference, yes. But on the other hand, the other thing people might watch is the race for Attorney General, where Cahill is closing the gap on Schneiderman. Now, I never, what has Schneiderman done? I don't know. He's the Attorney General. But it may be, Kevin, that all this concern about corruption in Albany has a lot of Democrats and other people thinking maybe we should have a Republican Attorney General. And
I think that would be a good idea.
I think it's a very good idea.
Someone from the other party. You
right.
should always do that. Yeah.
So Cahill, I think, has a fair shot here to pull this off. Yes,
all
Kevin.
Right. Well, I was looking at the ballot.
Kevin's trying to figure out the ballot, folks. It'll take us a few
Tell
moments.
us about Stephen Cohn.
Kevin, I have no idea
who
Stephen Cohn is.
He's on the Sapinet.
I have no idea what that party is.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I guess you have to go out and get so many signatures to get that party line. Some of these parties, of course, are automatically on there. I think if you get 50,000 votes on that line for governor, then you've got the line the next time around. But some of these, like the women's equality line, that's brand new. And then there's a Stop Common Core line there or something of that sort.
Yes.
Which Astorino is on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that's going anywhere. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So those are my thoughts on that, Kevin.
Okay, listen, this is out of left field. I know you like to be well aware of anything before you talk about it, but
I would like to, yes.
There are a number of proposals on the ballot.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on those? Let me run by the first one. Revising the state's districting procedure.
Yes,
What's that all about?
That would be a good idea to do that. Now,
vote yes?
Yeah, there have been a lot of good government types and such come out against that, but my view is we got to have a different approach to drawing these district lines.
Rather than leaving it to the parties.
Oh, it's ridiculous. If the Republicans take control of or the Democrats take control of the state Senate, they'll draw those lines for the Senate and Assembly that Republicans will never get a shot at winning. And the only thing I think that saved the congressional seats this time around was that we ended up with a federal judge basically drawing the lines for the congressional seats. And the fact is, the members of the Senate and the Assembly, they don't care how those congressional lines are drawn anyway. It really it doesn't make them much difference. And in fact, I think she did a pretty good job of redrawing the district lines.
It was a female judge?
Yeah, and
All right.
I don't, Tom Reed, of course, would just soon not have Tompkins County in his district, but nonetheless, the districts are originally compact and they're reasonable. So you may have criticisms of this, but I think basically
Heineman says
a separate district commission draw the lines is probably a good thing.
Heineman says vote yes on proposal number 1.
I would, yes.
Proposal number 2, permitting electronic distribution of legislative bills.
That's a matter of indifference.
Yeah, okay, I thought so too. Now here's the third one. It's got a nifty name, the Smart Schools Bond Act.
Oh yeah, I'm against that.
Why?
Well, that's the one that they're going to put more computers and wireless teaching aids and things of that sort in the books in the schools. I think Steve Jobs. Well, Steve Jobs is gone now, but I think Google and these companies have are making enough money off of.
You think that's what's behind it, Bob?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, let's move ahead to the national elections. I'm going to start off by saying if the Republicans capture the Senate, they've done it without offering any proposals of what they're going to do. They simply say Obama is weak. He gave us Obamacare. That's enough right there to cause people to be ticked off.
He's done plenty since then.
Oh, yeah. But there are enough reasons not to vote for
the Democrats.
Right. But what are the Republicans going to do? Let's assume they control the Senate.
100%, Kevin.
Wow.
I hope this doesn't affect your health here further. But
I did get a shudder in my back when you said that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. The Republicans have to come up with some positive programs and some reasonable programs. So you've got, of course, on both the House and the Senate side, you've got a number of nutcases on the Republicans' side, and you've got to move beyond them and basically come up with some programs that are reasonable and have some concreteness to them. So I think that's important, and that's one of the reasons why the Republicans took this House of Representatives, in 1994.
They had a plan.
Newt Gingrich came up with the contract with America, and Newt Gingrich, whether you like him or not, had a good sense of how to go about policy and politics. You got to have somebody step in there. And I'm not certain Mitch McConnell, frankly, is
you finally came around to my view.
Yeah, well, Boehner, on the other hand, is. I think Boehner has got a good sense of what America can put up with and what they will take. And I believe you're going to pick up additional seats in the House of Representatives as a result.
Now, let me...
which is pretty amazing, actually.
You know, you never let me finish.
I know other people get irritated about that, too.
With you?
Oh, yes.
No kidding. I'm not the only guy irritated?
You're not the only one that I just go charging in, yeah. No.
Well, listen, Charger.
Sorry, folks.
Here's the thing. If the Republicans do get control of the Senate, and some polls indicate they have a good chance of that, what will they do? Will they just be a block against Obama, or will they try to advance their own agenda?
Well, no, I think first they have to be a block against Obama, because I do think he's getting ready to issue executive orders and things of that sort. So the House and Senate have to stick together in terms of blocking that. But I think for the Senate Republicans, the wisest thing to do after the election would be to get together in a conference of some sort or another and sit down and say, look, fellas, this is kind of what we have to put together. This is what we have to get out there. And obviously there are going to be 3 or 4 of those senators, frankly, that are pretty much total head cases. Get them to come along.
Do you want to mention names? Or?
Well, I don't want to right now.
All right, head cases.
But, to get them to come along, obviously, maybe impossible. But I think if the majority of the Republicans put together some reasonable programs, then the chances of picking up a few Democrats here along the line may be pretty good. I think they can come forward. Now, you have to understand that the House has proposed something like 200 pieces of legislation, some of which are very good ideas, and Reid has refused to bring any of them to the floor. So there's some good ideas out there, and let's hope that the Senate Republicans would pick up on them.
Well, listen, you have a PhD, and of course I don't, as you often point out. What is this word? S-A-P.
I don't know, Kevin. Will you leave it
I-E-N-T.
I just said I have no idea what
well,
that is.
What the party? What does the word mean?
I have no idea.
Sapient Party.
Yeah. Well, we could.
You know who's running on the Sapient Party?
I don't care.
Stephen Cohn and Bobby K. Kellogg.
I'll take that ballot back, Kevin.
Bobby K. Kellogg. I'd vote for that guy just on his name, I
There
think.
you go.
Yeah. All right. Now, if the Republicans do control both houses,
Right.
and Obama goes ahead and issues this not a moratorium, what would it be?
Amnesty or what?
Yeah, well, it'll be in effect amnesty for, what are they talking about, 40,000 to begin with. There are something like 12 million illegals here.
Yeah, well, again, those aren't all people by any means who have crossed the border.
No, it's not. A lot of them are.
About
though.
half of them are people who've let their visas expire.
All right, but
et
whatever,
cetera. So there's only about
if he
5.5,
does
6
that,
million.
and he is, of course, a no borders guy, no question about that.
I
Anyone
think-
who would argue that he's not a no borders guy has got to be simple, or just so devout to a Democrat that he can't see the forest for the trees. But anyway, Bob,
Yes, Kevin.
if he does that, what, if anything, can the Republicans do?
Oh, well, it depends.
You're
on
a constitutional professor of constitutional law.
I try, yes. No, I think that you can't put these programs in effect without, first of all, money. And that's where Congress can really shut the president down, by shutting off the funds for these programs. And then, of course, they can do other things. They can overturn regulations that are issued and things of that sort. The problem is, of course, you always have the problem of running into a presidential veto when you try to pass legislation.
Well, but they
You
can
certainly shut him off on the funding side.
stop the funding, right?
Right.
Okay. So there is some hope for.
Oh yeah, no. They can definitely put the clamps on the man.
You didn't let me finish. Some
Well,
hope for people like me.
Like you.
Yeah, who don't
Well,
think
I'm
we
not
should have
sure
open
about
borders. Open
that.
borders are not a good idea.
People like you. I don't know.
Well, you never let me finish the sentence, and then.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, now let's talk about our former senator, distinguished former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah.
She made another
Gaff?
major boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And tell the people what it was. And
I'm not
she
sure. I
apologized.
actually didn't hear her say it, but
I did.
I had a number of people heard her say it.
I heard her say it.
She said, "Well, everybody knows that business doesn't create jobs."
Government does.
Yeah. Now that's just insane.
Yeah. Well,
And I don't know. Has she had a couple of cerebral events? Of
now,
some
Bob,
sort?
that's terrible. You'd say that.
Well, I mean, she was out for I don't know how long, but the other side of it is, of course, that she's out running around trying to. Because, they were flat broke when they left the White House.
Oh, yeah. Had 2 homes, no mortgage money.
Right.
It was a terrible thing.
And so they're trying to build up a little a reserve fund there, and she's busily out doing that. So, maybe she's just tired. But it's a statement that obviously is going to come back to haunt her, and I hope haunt her a lot, because that is a total...
If the mainstream media talks about it.
Well, I think it's clear enough out there that you can put it in some pretty decent advertisements. You can put that in there. You can put a little discussion of being flat broke. You can get a shot of her sitting before the congressional committee saying, "What difference does it make about Benghazi? We lose our ambassador." Or,
what difference does it make? You got to give it
the. It makes no difference. Yeah. Well,
got to give it the right
Well,
emphasis.
you can give it a full. You can have her right there doing it, and you begin to wonder. Where's the only thing that's going to save Hillary is if we get this whole identity politics thing.
Well, that's what
carried
she's counting
further
on.
and further and further, and they're going to vote for her because she's a woman. And I guess there are people that would do that. Well, there are plenty of people.
I know
out there
some.
who do that.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to say, "Hey, hold it. What are we getting here?" And
Bob, I don't know how to break this to you because I know you're very sensitive. Our time is gone.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been good to get back in here and look at your. Well, you don't have a tie today. Usually you have a kind of a embarrassment around your neck.
Oh, I see, Kevin. You talk about embarrassment in that bathrobe.
You
there.
mean
yes,
red checkered
this
bathrobe?
guy,
blue pajamas.
You certainly have not lost your. What would the Yiddish word be? Chutzpah there.
Chutzpah.
Yeah. Chutzpah, yes, to the nth degree here. Well, at any rate, Kevin, it's good to have you back, and I hope we'll be able to interact here face to face for time to come.
Please God. Thank you, Bob. Now stay tuned for news and information. Don't forget to vote next Tuesday.